allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Application for open meeting notice.
Meeting notices were posted on September 2nd at the library, post office, city hall, and the website.
Thank you. Council acceptance of agenda.
Make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Personal appearances, anyone in the audience who wishes to speak anything that's not on the agenda? Okay, we'll move on to minutes from August 15th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 15th, 2022 common council meeting.
Second. Any corrections or additions? Not all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Committee reports, finance, Candy.
Finance met this evening at 6:30. Motion to approve change order number 2 for Fisher Excavating Inc. for the South Main Street Improvement Project, which is a decrease of $9,757.34.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Langen,
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion to approve the final pay request for Fisher Excavating Inc. for the South Main Street Improvement Project in the amount of $57,992.20.
A second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Langen,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve bills and payroll in the amount of $336,117.06.
I'll second.
Any questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Langen,
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion to approve contract for the corp plan with Vanderwall and Associates in the amount of $25,190, which is $190 over what the council originally agreed to fund out of ARPA.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, just a quick, for anybody that's not going through this contract, listening to this, that's not involved in this, could someone from the parks or one, just in a nutshell for the record, what are they getting for the $25,190?
Well, okay, Keith, between you and I think we can explain it all. We're getting they're going to update our corp plan for the city. And first of all, by having that updated will allow us, the city to get some, go for some grants, additional funding, and they're gonna be looking at all of the parks within the city and also all of the needs for each of the parks, or all of our needs, and then decide how best recommend some ways in which we can improve our parks and maybe utilize the parks a little bit differently. Also, there will be some public input, some public hearings to get feedback from all of the sporting communities or the boards and the people to offer feedback, because we've had a lot of people come to the Parks Committee asking for more space, asking for batting cages, asking for more fields, asking for more parking, asking for the Arts Council, asking for amphitheater discussion. So we've kind of, everything has been kind of put out at Racetrack Park for the most part. And we've outgrown it with what everybody is asking for, so we need to look at the entire community and see if we're utilizing all of our parks the way we should.
They're looking at all parks,
All parks,
current use,
all of them.
possible uses, upgrading,
Correct.
updating. And it's the plan, it's an idea, they're gonna come back with suggestions and things and all that good stuff after all that input. Okay, and I understand we need it to be updated so that we can apply for it.
Like grants.
Because it's too old now.
Yeah, I think was it 15 years, 20 years old, the court plan current, or is that quite?
2008 to 13, I think, is a 5-year plan. I think it was put together in 2008.
And we have to have that every 5 years to be able to apply for funding and grants. So, but one of the key things was the public input that they would get, which is extremely important.
And the timing is good also because correct me if I'm wrong, Ramona, the planning for a neighborhood park behind Piggly Wiggly because of the development, it's out in Cherries, but the timing is good to talk about a new potential park there as well.
So I have a question. You said outgrown racetrack park, which I agree.
Thanks, that's it then.
Yeah,
There's another
that
more
was the
conversation.
So is my hearing right, is the idea to develop the other parks so that they can also be utilized similar to where racetrack park is? I guess what I'm getting at is because when I was on parks, and anytime we tried to offer a smaller park, i.e. soccer fields, all that type of stuff, nobody seemed to be interested in being anywhere but racetrack park.
Mhm.
Like, can we change that? Can we make those parks more inviting so that, because now it's like, well, we don't want to be stuck behind Shearer Street, or we don't want to be over there, and I'm just wondering if that's sort of the plan, because I agree, racetrack is busting at the seams, has been for a while.
Yeah, it has been and will continue because more people have asked for more things out there. So we don't know what it's gonna mean, but that's why we're paying them the big bucks, if you will, is to help with some recommendations after receiving all the feedback. So like I would want to know for anybody that says, we really want to, we feel we need to be at Racetrack Park because the parking is better, or because the lighting is better, or because, well, what if those things could occur at another park?
Exactly.
So, that's the whole discussion. It's not just, we're gonna pick this up and move it over there, because who knows? Maybe they'll come back and say, hey, you're doing everything right there. But that's all, that's the discussion. And, the public input will be very important.
But I guess I would just add that to your point, it is just a plan and the action items still rely on us to do, because I think I remember the last plan. I don't know if they need the final plan, but I remember the discussion that the planner said, take the deer pen, put it kind of in the back 40, it doesn't look right there, dress up the front of your, your car, put it up in the trees. So to someone, who's not a member of the conservation club or just isn't, hasn't lived with it there their whole life, that probably makes sense. But then the conservation club and some locals were like, move the deer. So I mean, there are gonna be things that are
Exactly, yeah, that's-
proposed in it that I'm willing to bet it's not all gonna happen.
I was just looking to see,
the
it was the
point you
same mindset, like, yes, I know the action is a long way away, but is that something that people are thinking about, is that we are gonna have to upgrade some of these parks so that they also become, you don't feel like you're being, pushed to the,
Yeah, well, I mean,
bush league there, that you are actually in a park that is attractive and people will come to, and it's fun to be at. One, like, well, they stuck us here because we're this sport or we're this activity.
We want them to be a desired destination is what we're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I don't want to focus just on the parks. I mean, there's discussion too about bike trails, right?
Oh,
I mean, there's so, you know, what is the need going to be? So, yeah, it's a whole bunch of things, but yeah, I absolutely hear you, Paul, but Casey's right, it's the going out to the public, getting feedback, looking at everything, making recommendations to the Parks Committee. Ultimately, the Parks Committee will help to make that decision. They will not, they'll make, the contractors will make, just recommendations.
Everyone's gonna have to compromise in some way.
Right.
If soccer and baseball each want another field, then a new field might be at, not at racetrack, at some other park. And you have to deal with it, because I think, and I know where I think you're going. And I think it's probably really unrealistic to think one of those sports, either soccer or baseball, would be entirely moved to another park. I mean, that would have to be a big park, and where is that? I mean, where is there that much land to do that? I don't think there is, and no plan's gonna, you know, create it unless it tells us to, you know,
But as
they'll buy a ton of land someplace. So there's, we'll hear, and you know, if what they really want is just another field, then they may have to live with it being, like you say, at a different location that doesn't have concession stands and ideal set up as what they have at racetrack.
Part of the reason that deer weren't able to be moved is some DNR rules too on pen deer, where you can keep them and move them to and stuff like that. So I think that's probably why that stays where it's at. I think so. Seems to me that was brought up when it was talked about moving it, that there are some issues with moving something like that. Especially now with the CWD in the last couple of decades, but
I always thought they were lucky that they never had to double fence that, because that's where that was.
That's-
that might be part of the rule, why if they moved, they would have to do that. Okay.
So much for my nutshell.
where are we at with that? Do we have a
We have a
roll call?
motion in a second.
No, we have not.
We don't?
Yeah. Katie
Yeah.
Davis, Braun.
Yeah.
This is a motion, right?
No, we have a motion, but we haven't done a roll call yet.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any more discussion?
And it's all out of our, that's the motion, it's all out of our.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
we
not
do.
for it's not for the person, the company, I assume, it's just the amount of money and to come on board.
With the increase of $190.
$190, yes.
That's why we have to come back.
What else? Roll call.
Candy Davis,
Yes,
Braun,
Yes.
Langen,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Motion passes.
I don't think that, because I think
We don't
it
have
comes-
to.
right, the codifications, but it doesn't have to go to council, because you're gonna finish it, or you're going
Wanted
to.
to double.
Okay, thank you. Okay, motion to approve the BKS excavating contract amendment for Henry Street. And what this is changing the timing of the work. Amended dates would be start of construction the third week of March. Substantial completion by Friday, the Friday before Memorial Day. And final completion, which is the last lift of asphalt, September 1st.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I just want to ask a question. So it was talked about in finance that they would cover, they're gonna freeze the costs of the project in the next spring and just, that sounds good, just because of the times we live in, nothing seems to go down, so that's kind of a gamble, like that's all good. If they didn't, would we rebid this?
Application of rebidding is the closed TIF. Funding source for this is the TIF, and we're beyond expenditure
Oh.
period, so this contract is the contract. So that's why, one of the reasons we are where we are.
The other interesting part, how long would it take us to rebid? I'm guessing we'd probably be dang near you know, the asphalt closes by mid-November,
It wouldn't be this year.
it wouldn't be this year, so we're already in the same, we'd be in the same timeframe-ish.
Well, also, what's frustrating about it is how soon before the start date we're talking. I mean, this was supposed to start a week from now, so to rebid it, you know, it could never be done. So have we ever had a situation like this, like something gets changed so close to the start date?
I do not recall, nothing that's pushed it into a whole other construction season. I don't recall any.
We're in unusual times all through, so
Yeah,
with
it's
peaceful.
the way the bids turned out. The low bid was the same company, and so they don't seem to have the horsepower to get them both done.
Mhm.
The lead laterals is super important.
That's gotta be this year because it's tied to DNR funding that has to be this year.
So is there anything, yeah, maybe it's just a one-off because of all parties involved in the timing of the TIF, but is there anything to learn from it? Like, should we not give multiple projects to one construction company?
Well, I mean, they're low bid, right? So that's the bar you have to be convinced and have a legal basis to not award. You think they can't do the work, but when we had this conversation and there was a whole other crew that doesn't seem to have.
If I recall, they were far below, they were substantially below the other bids, correct?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
And I'll just go back to, I think we're still in some very unusual times tonight with workers, companies trying to keep full staff. Getting equipment and materials, and we're still within that unusual period of time. I don't know if that's this case or not, but
Anyone else? Roll call.
Candy Davis,
yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Langen,
Yes.
Motion passes.
That's it for finance.
Thank you. Tree board.
Tree board met today, 5:30. Couple things that were discussed. One is just something that slipped through the cracks. We do some memorial trees. And normally it's done during tobacco days. That just slipped through the cracks. So we are going to still do it. We still like the idea. So we've got one that the tree board recommended. The mayor is going to finance the other one, and we're going to have, I'm going to call it a contest, not really a contest, right? To be able to do these memorial trees. So that is moving forward. We are going to move forward with the grant application for tree inventory that needs to be in by October 1st. And so that is moving forward. And then finally, with the gravel bed, the trees that we have, the majority of them are spoken for, but there's still a decent amount that haven't been claimed. And so Howard is looking at potentially reaching back out to the neighborhood to see if we can't get them to, you know, where we want to plant them, to see if we can get more claimed. And if not, we've got plenty of places that we'll be able to plant them. So overall, we're in good shape.
As long as we can get an elm tree, otherwise they'll have to wait till next year. The one I donate has to be an elm tree. All right, thank you. Parks and Rec.
So we met on Tuesday, August 16th. We discussed the work plan. Hired or awarded the bid to Vanderwall and Associates. The only other thing we discussed was Rotary has secured a grant and is interested in making a contribution. It's a $10,000 grant for work out at Racetrack Park in what I would call the dance floor, to make improvements in that area. So thank you, Rotary, for that $10,000 grant contribution. Yeah.
I would just add one more thing about the reason we chose the Vanderwall proposal. One of the things I thought that made their application strong was they had worked on Rock County's overall parks plan as well, and had done some mapping there, and just the overall plan just had a little bit more bells and whistles, and it was just a stronger plan, and they seem to be bringing the more experienced staff to the project.
Thank you. Historic preservation.
Historic met this evening at 5:45 PM across the street here at 2 Burdick Street. We approved a certificate of appropriateness for work that's to be completed pretty much immediately, according to the building owner. Edward Jones is going to be one of the tenants. They're supposed to be moving in sometime in October, I guess. Hopefully all will go well, and there will be some new development over on that little corner there. So that's about it. We're still working on mural policy, so that should actually be coming soon. You guys should see that, at least a first draft. Anyway.
Fire district.
Fire district, okay, me again. Chief was unable to be here this evening due to a conflict with another meeting. And passing around Chief's preliminary monthly report. Numbers continue to be high this month, meaning August. 94 911 calls, up 10.5% year over year. Again, several days where there's simultaneous calls. They've been very, very busy. Last weekend was the Treasury Fire Department had several calls out of the Treasury, as usual, that usually happens. August, for the August Fire District Board meeting, we did not hold one due to a COVID restriction with somebody on the board. We did hold a special meeting last Thursday night for the district board because we're continuing to tweak our current IGA, making some recommended changes. And once we get final approval and agreement by all of our current municipalities, that's when we will then enter into continued discussion with the 5 municipalities. So we held a special meeting last Thursday. We have a regular scheduled board meeting this Thursday, the 8th. And we'll have a closed session to continue discussion on verbiage for the IGA.
Thank you for all the effort that's going into that.
I'm gonna bite my tongue.
Okay.
Again, thanks for all the effort. Okay, the next item is consider approval of the 2023 joint powers agreement with Rock County 911 Communications.
A motion to approve the 2023 joint powers agreement with Rock County 911 Communications.
I'll second.
Who was that?
Couple of them.
Megan?
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Braun,
Yes.
Langen,
Yes.
Andy Davis,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Paul Davis,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes,
Motion passes. Next item is mayor and alderperson and staff reports. Okay, there's a couple things going on this week. Tomorrow you've got a concert in the park. You haven't seen these guys, they're good band. Used to work with the lead singer, so I follow them a little bit, but never played with them, so I mean, I'm not that musician. So, and then I think it's Chili Mania weekend this weekend, so it'll be a lively weekend here in town again. Anybody else have anything?
So I forgot two things while I was talking about the tree board. One was, I thought it was really cool, our intern was able to, with an app, be able to develop a drop down with an app because of her certificate of being a student or whatever, for GIS mapping. So that's going to help with the mapping throughout the community. And I thought the fact that she was able to make that happen, and Howard's gonna try it out here recent, or soon, I think that's a really neat thing. The other one was a cat story that Howard told, and that was, a cat went up a tree, went all the way up the tree. The city got called, tried to go there, our boom truck can't get to it. Called the cops, called the fire department. Too many electrical lines, they can't get to it. So Howard called, I just forgot Jones' name.
Dave Manchesky.
And he went out, took a look at it, he couldn't get his two trucks up there. So,
That's a line energy.
and Dave actually called the subcontractor from Beloit. They brought an 80-foot boom truck to come into town, get some cat from the top of some tree, get it out of the tree, so. It was quite the adventure.
It was a kid, so as a kid, didn't know enough to climb back down.
I wanted to know, did it belong to somebody or was it a stray? Oh, okay.
And the owner was there, they handed the kid right back to him.
Should have been front page on the reporter, Sam.
He asked if there was a picture, I heard it say it. So anyway, two stories I thought I'd share.
Thanks. Anybody else? Otherwise, we can do the number 10 closed session thing.
I'll move that we go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85 1E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session to discuss and consider a land sale.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Langen,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Candy Davis,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Paul Davis.
Yes. Motion passes. We are in closed session.